A righteous man sought the Rakah Quadash so that they could be led and strengthened and teach according to the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. I want to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Rakah Quadash. And double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well through the Spirit. And a mighty shalom to the hopeful elect in the same Spirit, teaching His word and believing in His word. The willing as a whole that they continue in sound doctrine and in the same Spirit. Shalom to the Akwath that are believers of His faith and His truth. Lord willing that they continue to pursue their lot, which is being a loving and silent and virtuous wife. And Lord willing, Yahweh Shem Shai has mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in the faith. This is Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 7, where I prayed and understanding was given me. I called upon the Most High, and the spirit of wisdom came to me. This is Solomon speaking. You know, of course, you can go into the history in the book of Kings and the book of Chronicles, where Solomon prayed to the Heavenly Father for wisdom, for understanding, to be able to judge and lead the children of Israel. I believe when you go to Wisdom of Solomon, the 9th chapter, I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, O power of my fathers, and Lord of mercy, who has made all things with thy word, and ordained man through thy wisdom, that he should have dominion over the creatures which thou hast made, and order the world according to the equity and righteousness, and execute judgment with an upright heart. Give me wisdom that sits by thy throne, and reject me not from among thy children. For I, thy servant, and son of thy handmaid, am a feeble person, a weak person, and of a short time, too young for the understanding of judgment and laws. For though a man be never so perfect among the children of men, yet if thy wisdom be not with him, he shall be regarded as nothing. Right? So Solomon understood, without the wisdom of Yahweh Shem Shai, we are regarded as nothing. Right? This wisdom makes us sound, eloquent. This wisdom makes us move and observe things differently. Right? When you go to the next chapter, going down to verse 21, it says, For wisdom opened the mouth of the dumb, and made the tongues of them that cannot speak eloquent. And the wisdom of the Lord is a gift, especially for you brothers that's coming in this thing. You know, you somewhat teach as much as you do. You want to know how serious this is. You want to add in your prayer, you know, each and every day, even if you do understand things, because the Lord can take that wisdom from you. You want to call on Yahweh Shem Shai to continue to give you that spirit and lead you. So again, Solomon asked for the spirit so he can lead and judge Israel, judge the Israelites righteously. Us as teachers, prophets, apostles, evangelists, you know, in this thing, you want to be able to lead and judge, you know, our people rightly. And those that you're leading and judging is really the righteous, and you're even judging the 2/3, even if they don't give a damn, you know. But you want to be doing this by the will and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, not your own will, right? And this was really inspired by me watching, of course, the Edomite movie of Apostle Paul, and I just seen Peter sitting down at the table when he was praying to the Lord, and they were praying and asking for the Spirit for all of them. And even though, you know, when we read in the chapters, we understand in Acts, the 2nd chapter, they were filled with the Rakah Quadash, and they were speaking in multiple different tongues, different languages. And it just hit me more, like thinking like, for me to be able to do the lessons, and I believe all brothers, having a conversation with Yarmayan, all brothers, in order to do these lessons, brothers know that it's not them. And every day, care if it's a prophecy, a parable, or dark saying. I want Yahweh Shema Shai to move the men, to constantly feed them, right? You got some brothers that might feel like, they might be discouraged because they might see nobody watching them, even though we know Yahweh Shema Shai is, right? Brother, don't get discouraged. Continue to keep doing it, and the Lord is going to draw your lessons to who's going to see it. But you really want to make sure you're sincere about this. You want to call on the Lord to move you to be able to bring forth the prophecies, the parables, the dark sayings, the law, the volume of the book, right? Let's go to Numbers, the 11th chapter, in verse 16 and 17, dealing with the 70 elders assist Moses. It says, and Yahweh said unto Moses, gather unto me 70 men of the elders of Israel, whom thou knowest to be the elders of the people, and officers over them, and bring them unto the tabernacle of the congregation, that they may stand there with thee. And I will come down and talk with thee there, and I will take of the spirit which is upon thee, and will put it upon them, and they shall bear the burden of the people with thee, that thou bearest it not thyself alone. Right? Let's even read that in the NLT. Verse 16 and 17 again. It says, then Yahweh said to Moses, gather before me 70 men who are recognized as elders and leaders of Israel. Bring them to the tabernacle to stand there with you. I will come down and talk to you there, and I will take some of the spirit that is upon you, and I will put the spirit upon them also, and they will bear the burden of the people along with you, so you will not have to carry it alone. And look how the Lord is doing for us right now if you believe. The Lord has poured that same spirit that you see, I believe, in 1 Corinthians, the 12th chapter, which we all have a taste of it. There were different offices, different talents, but it's of the same spirit. Lord willing, is of the same faith. And we all have a taste of it to move out the Lord's order, to move out the Lord's will, right? Hey, brothers might be doing exhortations throughout the week. They might not dabble too much in prophecy, right? It's just on their spirit to do exhortation. Some brothers might be doing prophecy. Some brothers might be going to the law. Some brothers might just be filling you up with wisdom. Some brothers might be going into history. Some brothers might be going in the whole volume of the book. Some brothers might be going into the news. Especially, if you listening like me, I don't just have just one teacher that I watch out in Great Millstone. I'm watching the elder, the apostles, and then I dabble. I'm watching other elders, and then I'm flipping over here and I'm watching the brothers that's underneath them, maybe younger brothers, right? So I can get a handful of all aspects. A brother might be getting into the name of the Lord, going into Hebrew. Another brother might be going into like history or breaking down chapters. Another brother might go into prophecies. I'm trying to dabble so that I can eat the whole roll. So I can eat the whole roll like Ezekiel, right? So Moses needed help. So the Lord gave the Spirit to others to teach and guide. So really, look at what today is bringing us. The Lord is bringing forth men all around four corners of the earth, right? To carry the load, to help carry the load. This is 2nd Ezra, the 22nd chapter. No, this is 2nd Ezra 14. So I'm getting excited. Verse 22, and I'll start at verse 21. It says, for thy law is burnt, therefore no man knoweth the things that are done of thee, or the work that shall begin. But if I have found grace before thee, send the Rakakwadash unto me, and I shall write all that have been done in the world since the beginning, which were written in thy law, that men may find thy path, and that they which will live in the later days may live. And he answered me, saying, go thy way, gather the people together, and say unto them, that they seek thee not for 40 days. Now the Lord is about to get Ezra prepared to speak from sun up to sundown, and get 5 men to write from sun up to sundown to bring forth the first 5 books of the Bible, right? So this is one of our forefathers, one of the priests, the prophets, Ezra. And he asked for the Rakakwadash so he could write and teach the things of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. This is another example of somebody praying to the Lord, right? Let's get Isaiah 11:2. Isaiah 11:2, start at 1. It says, "And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. And the spirit of Yahweh shall rest upon him." This is speaking about Yahushai. "The spirit of wisdom and understanding, and the spirit of counsel and might, the spirit of knowledge and of the fear of Yahweh." Right? And, of course, this stems because even Yahushai was, considered a prophet. So this stems for all of us, right? So even the prophets knew they needed a spirit to rightly teach and guide. If we're, like Paul said, imitate me like I imitate Yahushai, when you're constantly reading, constantly hearing his word, if the spirit of Yahweh rests upon Yahushai, the spirit of wisdom and understanding, the spirit of counsel and might, and the spirit of knowledge, and the spirit of fear of Yahweh, you want to be praying to the Lord that he gives you the same spirit, the spirit of fear, right? The spirit of knowledge, right? The spirit of counsel and might, right? Because like Ezekiel in the 2nd chapter and the 3rd chapter, don't fear what they say unto you, right? The Lord made your head harder than theirs. They might make a face at you. They might mock. They might speak under their breath. We supposed to be looking foolish and to be looking like a spectacle, a public show to the people. But we're out here to teach the one true method or the one true knowledge on this earth, right? This is more important than any job, any career, any thought, any way of living that's under the sun. This is the number one important thing, You have to believe. And when you pray, you're begging the Lord for the things that you want, right? So let's get the book of Luke, the 11th chapter. Luke chapter 11 and verse 13. It says, "If ye then, being evil, know how to give good gifts unto your children, how much more shall your heavenly Father give the Ruach HaKodesh to them that ask?" Right? And now, before I say something, let's go to that James 1:5. "If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask of the Most High, that giveth to all men liberally," right? The Lord gives wisdom freely, "and upbraideth not, and it shall be given him." Now, he's not just giving it freely to somebody that don't care or obey his word, those that are sincere, and he's searching the heart, right? Yahushai himself said the spirit must be asked for in prayer. That's what you need to understand in Luke, the 11th and 13th chapter. How much more the Father, right? You got to be sincere when you're talking to the Lord, when you want to move in the Lord, right? When we understand what he did to Paul, and Paul had a history of persecuting the church, the Lord can choose whoever he wants. And we get to sit back like, wow, the Lord choosing people that persecute the church. He chose somebody that's going to deny him, but he's going to come back into faith. The Lord chose that. The Lord chose this. And look at our backgrounds. Some of us came from the mud. You either came from foster care. You either came from being a drug dealer. You could have either came from being a pimp. However your history was before coming in this truth, the Lord chose you, not because of outer appearance, but he chose you because he seen something in your heart and knew that you would be faithful, right? Let's go to Acts, the 1st chapter, and let's read verse 4 and 5. It says, "And being assembled together with them, commanded them that they should not depart from Jerusalem, but wait for the promise of the Father, which saith he, Ye have heard of me. For John truly baptized with water, but ye shall be baptized with the Ruach HaKodesh not many days hence." Yes, you were baptized. Even back then, for you to be anointed, like people say, who anointed you to be a prophet? Back then, yes, you was getting anointed with oil. But now, if you truly believe, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai is going to anoint you with the Ruach HaKodesh. You're going to be baptized with the Ruach HaKodesh. Truly, when the word is coming out, that's how we get washed. That's the real water. And the word, when it's coming out and you believe it, the Ruach HaKodesh come upon you. Now, some people get the Ruach HaKodesh on them and they just believe more and they're just changing their lives. Now, all brothers might not teach, right? But they might move in a leadership way. They might move in a humble way. right? Which it could still be taught by somebody that's watching them, But those that are put in a position or have a desire to be a teacher, this is something you want. You want to be baptized in the Ruach HaKodesh, so you'll be able to be led, strengthened, to have the will to teach the word of Yahweh Shem Yahushai sincerely, right? So now let's go to Acts, the 4th chapter, and let's read verse 29 to 31. Okay. I'm going to start at verse 28. It says, "For to do whatever thy hand and thy counsel determined before to be done. And now, Lord, behold, their threatenings, and grant unto thy servants, that with all boldness they may speak thy word, by stretching forth thy hand to heal, and that signs and wonders may be done by the name of thy holy child Yahushai. And when they had prayed, the place was shaken, where they were assembled together. And they were all filled with the Ruach HaKodesh, and they spake the word of the Most High with boldness." Right? We have to pray and ask Yahweh Shem Yahushai for these spirits. Right? The apostles were told to wait, and they received the spirit before teaching. The apostles prayed for the spirit before teaching boldly. You got to ask the Lord. Right? When brothers are standing on the highways and byways, like I heard the one brother, I think it was Elder Yashawamba, he said, yeah, but before most of us brothers, before we do a lesson or go to camp, we call on the Lord. We call on Yahweh Shem Yahushai to guide us and move us, to teach his word. Sometimes it's not planned. You might not have a few scripts in your mind, right? The spirit might just flow, but you want the Lord to guide you. Sometimes the spirit might draw other people to come up and ask questions. Right? You want the Lord to be able to guide you so you can answer their questions. You want to be able to have the Spirit guide you to actually teach 100% truth. Right? This is something serious. Let's go to the book of Acts, the 13th chapter. And let's read verse 2 to 4. It says, "And they shall, as they ministered to the Lord and fast, the Ruach HaKodesh said, Separate me, Barnabas, and Saul for the work thereunto I have called them. And when they had fasted and prayed and laid their hands on them, they sent them away. So they, being sent forth by the Ruach HaKodesh, departed unto Seleucia, and from thence they sailed to Cyprus." Let's read that in NLT. It says, "One day, as these men were worshiping Yahweh Shem Yahushai and fasting, the Ruach HaKodesh said, Dedicate Barnabas and Saul for the special work to which I have called them. So after more fasting and prayer, the men laid their hands on them and sent them on their way. So Barnabas and Saul were sent out by the Ruach HaKodesh. They went down to the seaport of Seleucia, and they sailed for the island of Cyprus." Right? Come on, man. While they were worshiping Yahweh Shem Yahushai and fasting, the Ruach HaKodesh said, dedicate Barnabas to a special work, man. And they were praying unto the Lord in the Ruach HaKodesh. When you go to Acts, Acts, the 8th chapter, verse 26, right? The Spirit of the Lord had Philip move in the direction he had to move to go edify the eunuch on what he was reading. We need the Spirit, man. Especially when you edifying, building people up. If you have a desire to build people up, you should have that desire in your heart to pray to Yahweh Shem Yahushai to give it to you, man. You don't want to be moved in your own will. You don't want to, like what he said to Gideon when he had, 30,000 people for war. He said, lower that, because they're not going to boast on me. They're basically going to boast on themselves. Then he had 10,000. They still wouldn't be giving glory to the Heavenly Father. He lowered it down, to 500, 300, right? The Lord wants us to boast in him, glorify him, right? In order to teach, you want to need him, right? And the Lord is really choosing those that's boasting in him. The Lord is choosing those with a lowly heart, I cannot do none of these things without him. Sometimes I'm moved to go watch a old lesson that a brother did, and I already watched it before, and it's just something a brother said, and it made me do a lesson, and I probably already did 3 lessons on that same topic. Whatever the Lord wants to be said is going to be said. You know how many times the men of the Lord, even before I even got in here, was doing the same lessons? Elder Apostle Tahar been in this thing for 40 years. He been teaching throughout the whole Bible. And the word is still being taught the same thing, just in a different, with a different delivery, but the same song, man. Right? I cannot be where I am without asking Yahweh Shem Shai, or not even your spirit. Romans the 8th chapter. Sometimes even your spirit is asking the Lord, crying to the Lord on your behalf. So you don't even know it. Right? Don't even know it. So again, their teaching and mission came after the Spirit directed them. The same with Philip. Let's just go to that real quick with Philip. The Spirit directed the apostles. Let's look at another one. Let's look at Philip. Acts the 8th chapter, going down to 26. Let's just read the point. It says, "And the angel of Yahweh Shema Shai spake unto Philip, saying, Arise and go towards the south unto the way that goeth down from Jerusalem unto Gaza, which is desert. And he arose and went, and behold, a man of Ethiopia, an eunuch of great authority under Candace, queen of the Ethiopians, who had the charge of all her treasure, and had come to Jerusalem for to worship, was returning and sitting in his chariot, and read Isaiah the prophet. Then the Spirit said unto Philip, Go near and join thyself to this chariot." Right? The Spirit guided him, directed him where he had to go. The angel already told him he had to go down there, go down from Jerusalem to Gaza. Then the Spirit led him to this eunuch, man. You know, reading this, I want Yahweh Shema Shai to lead me. Sometimes, hey, a brother might get up. It's a midday camp. Yahweh Shema Shai set that up. You know, you doing a sit down. Yahweh Shema Shai set that up. Just like if you're thinking about doing a lesson and then you don't, and the majority of your day you're reading, the Spirit is doing that. Might be making you get sharper for the next video, right? Yahweh Shema Shai wants you to do. Sometimes, hey, the Spirit might have you draw, have you sit down, and you might be watching something that deals with history, something that could be edifying. Hey, you might be watching the news, and it might deal with the Charagma, it might deal with Civil War. And it might give you an idea like, dang. And then you might do a lesson. You've seen, oh, I just did a lesson on Civil War. But the Spirit wants you to talk about it again. Right? You can have a dream or a thought. And that thought might bring forth or inspire you to do a lesson on what you were thinking, man. The Lord's word is going to come out so that the sheep, wherever you at, man, woman, or child, he's going to make sure it come out. Guess what? Somebody else could be thinking of something. And you don't know, but the Lord put it in your heart to do this lesson, and you post this lesson, and the Spirit draw them to go hear that word. We're here working for Yahweh Shem Yahushai. I want every last one of y'all to know. And if you don't see no work ethic, right, go study the ant, right? And after you understand studying the ant, they're always working. Find yourself working for Yahweh Shem Yahushai. In order to be a worker, in order to be that employee, pray for the Rakakwadash. Right? So this is St. John, the 14th chapter, in verse 26. Speaking to the disciples. It says, "But the Comforter, which is the Rakakwadash, whom the Father will send in my name, which his name is Yahushai, he shall teach you all things, and bring all things to your remembrance, whatsoever I have said unto you." Right? It might not be the same how some of our forefathers, where the Lord was speaking to them either in thought or in a vision or a trance. While Paul was blind and the Lord was talking to him. Hey, the Spirit might talk to you through another prophet. Right? For those that do believe, you already get it. For those that's coming in this faith, you have to think. If it's something that you're dealing with and a brother's doing a lesson on it and it's hitting you, like, dang, that was a good lesson. Guess what? The Spirit of the Lord spoke to you. Even if the brother's doing a lesson, The Lord is using the men of the Lord to bring forth these lessons, right? Doesn't matter if you're looking for an understanding of prophecy and you come across his page or that video he just uploaded. It could be exhortation. It could be a parable. It could be something in the gospel. It could be in the history. It could be into the law. It could be anything in the scripture, something that you was looking for in your heart or in your mind, right? And you come across it. And then you listen to it and you was edified. It might make you take notes. It might make you sit there and re-listen to it again. It might hit you and say, yo, that was a good lesson. He was hitting points. Guess what? It's not us. It was the Spirit that gave you this. If you start to understand a chapter breakdown, before you had problems with the chapter, maybe you understood some of it, but you didn't understand it on a certain level, and the brother is breaking it down to the T. Guess what? The Comforter, he shall teach you all things and bring all things to your remembrance. And now you got the confidence after you heard that. Now you about to say, oh man, that chapter was amazing. Now, if the ability is in you to teach, you're going to start teaching it. And guess what? It just all leads to sound doctrine. It all leads to 100% truth. It all leads to us teaching the same thing, having that unity. The Lord is using us, man. Right? But if it's not sound doctrine, leading to 100% truth, right? The Lord not using you on the right hand side. The Lord is using you for another mission on the on the left hand side, right? So again, Yahushua promised the Ruach HaKodesh would be the true teacher guiding them, because Yahushua physically not here, and that Spirit is going to be coming in the name of Yahushua. This is why the Spirit is going to draw you to be confident saying the name of the Lord. It's going to have you confident in teaching. Let alone, yes, in this captivity is a little different, right? That you had the disciples leaving their job to fully dedicate their life to the ministry. We got to provide on this side, so you got double the work on this side. But the Lord already knew your lot. He knew what you're going through. He knows the troubles, the sufferings. He knows the certain situations that surround you. But he put this this connected to the burden that you already have on your shoulders, because he know that you can overcome it. But guess what? Even if you do get it and you're able to teach lessons, we supposed to turn around and still give the wada Yahweh Shemal Shai for the Amath, the wada Yahweh Shemal Shai for the Ruach HaKodesh. But please don't take your spirit from me. Please don't remove your presence from me. The same as David, right? So just to close it out, so when we look from Moses, Solomon, Ezra, Isaiah, the apostles, the disciples, they all sought the Ruach HaKodesh through prayer, right? The apostles, Yarmayan, the head of the camp, he always say, man, make sure brothers is praying. Make sure you call on the name of the Lord. Shoot, Amawan Gabar, he did a nice, or somebody, they probably screen recorded a rail on YouTube. Make sure you calling on Yahweh Shemal Shai. We're getting closer. Right? The elect going to be praising his holy name. The elect is going to be calling on him. The elect are going to be crying unto Yahweh Shemal Shai on the shit that's going on in this world. Make sure you calling on the name of the Lord. For good moments, for bad moments, for stress moments, right? For things you having a hard time to make a decision, right? Call on the Lord. So through fasting and faith, so that they could teach and lead, right? To move according to the will of Yahweh Shemal Shai. Without the Spirit, they cannot guide the people rightly. We cannot guide the people rightly. Without the Ruach HaKodesh from Yahweh Shemal Shai, we cannot guide, we cannot teach, we cannot comfort the men, the women, the children that say they believe, or those that's coming in the faith. Because you have to be sharp enough to be able to teach that somebody that don't believe, that they can be persuaded, not by us, but by the Spirit, man. People coming in oh, how do you know this and this name? Man, we believe because Yahweh Shemal Shai revealed that name. I just didn't sit and I just found a name. I had to hear somebody teach, and I had to sit there and think about all these other names. Then I came across 2nd Esdras, the 3rd chapter, verse 34, where it says the Heavenly Father's name is only found in Israel. It's so many names about God and Jesus, right? Yahuwah, Yeshua, Yatua. All nations is saying all these different names, but I only see black, Latino, Hispanics, and natives saying Yahweh, Yahweh Shai. I haven't seen a whole group of Elam, a whole group of Africans. I haven't seen a whole group of Edomites. I haven't even seen 5. As a whole, say Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. I know that this is the name. And since I got this name, I know Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai is giving the spirit out to men, women, and children that truly believe. You got to be sincere. Lord willing, this was edifying, and Lord willing, you actually make the decision today and every other day until, right, the Lord returns, and asking for the spirit, right? Because when famine the word come, right, when the MOTB come, when Jacob trouble come, you're going to want to call on Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai to guide you, where to go, what should I do, right? You might see threat right behind you. If you ain't calling the name of the Lord, who's to say that threat might be swiped out? They might get blinded, right? I'm thinking, because the Lord got power to do anything. I believe in the man that's beyond the clouds, not in the clouds, beyond the clouds. I believe Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai can be anywhere. He can make his voice known at any time, but he choose not to because of our wicked ass, man. So because he gave us his son rose. Yes, he did rise again, man, and went on the right-hand side of the Father. So now he have given us a gift. He has given us a power, but we have to believe, and that power is the Rakak Wadash. I want to give all praises to the one true power, Yahweh, Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Shem, Rakak Wadash, and double honors to the elder apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teach well through the Spirit. Almighty Shalom to the hopeful elect in the same Spirit, teaching his word and believing in his word. Lord willing as a whole that they continue in sound doctrine and in the same Spirit. Shalom to the Akwath, believers of his faith and his truth. Lord willing that you continue to pursue your lot, which is being a loving and silent and virtuous wife, and that you continue to believe and follow sound doctrine in 100% truth. And Lord willing, the Most High have mercy on the other brothers and sisters that's not in the faith. With that, shalom, shalom, abba, abba.